Hey everyone, I'm Joanna Rochester, and this is Real Talk Soul Alchemy Wellness Edition. So much of what goes on in our life is we base it upon our old story. When we're born, we're taken away. If we're born in a hospital, we're grabbed from our mother's arms, or from not mother's arms, we're grabbed from our mothers, and we're taken away to nurses and doctors, and we become dependent. It's almost like we attach to them. We become so used to accepting what we hear from our doctors that we just kind of go blindly forward. And that, I was certainly culpable here because, I always just trusted my doctor until I came to realize that it's not that you can't trust them, but there's so many other alternatives out there. There's so many natural therapies that are available. There's some doctors that are great. There's some in the Western medicine world that believe in a holistic or integrative approach to medicine, where you combine natural therapies with Western medicine. And that's what Soul Alchemy Wellness Edition, or Real Talk Wellness Renegade, is all about, is coming to understand how natural therapies work, when to use them, when to turn to Western medicine for a response if you're not getting one. But ideally, we use natural therapies first, and then if we don't get the relief that we're looking for, then we turn to Western medicine. Because I've had clients in my office, one client that said, "Oh, I felt something kind of explode in my ovary," and it's like, well, get out of here, go to the doctor, go to the Emerge and figure out what's going on, and come back, and we'll deal with it afterwards. So there is a time and a place for everything. And it's when you understand what your body's telling you, when you understand the spiritual component of everything, and the spiritual and the emotional always manifest as physical, no matter what. And so when you come to understand that every holistic perspective, then you can truly come to a place of wellness. You can truly come to, achieve whatever your wellness goals are in the short term and the long run. But that's another issue with Western medicine, is that it's a piecemeal approach that, okay, you've got a cramp in your leg, we're going to address that. Not why do you have the cramp in your leg, but instead just give you something for the cramp. So, it's always come to understand yourself, because you are designed, your body was designed to heal itself. We just have to give it the tools that it needs, the right diet, exercise, remove any stuck energy that are emotions or spiritual blocks, so that we can truly come back to balance within ourselves and allow our bodies to do the work that they were supposed to do. So Real Talk Soul Alchemy Wellness Edition is part of Speak Up and Empower, an online community of heart-centered people that share their wisdom and knowledge in all capacities, and also those that are searching for more. So check out speakupandempower.com. Once again, I'm Joanna Rochester, Soul Alchemist, and I help people on their journey to wellness. As a soul alchemist, it's to uncover your blocks, physical, mental, emotional, spiritual. And then when you become aware of those blocks, then you can move into alignment with what your soul wants, and start doing move closer towards what your soul purpose is. So the holistic approach. So lots of people are challenged to lose weight, and they change their diet, but that's not enough. Diet is a big component of it, but so often, especially we as women, and as we men and women grow up, we start to have thyroid issues, and this can have a huge impact upon us. And always a reminder that even if your doctor says you're in a normal range, we don't ever want to be in a normal range. We want to be in the optimal range. And sometimes that's higher than the normal range. Sometimes that's slightly on the lower side of the normal range. Years ago, I had, kind of for a number of years, a low-grade depression, just never had a ton of energy, was never really excited about life. I just thought it was because I had raising 3 kids on my own, basically, and, busy life. And that's just the way it was. But as soon as I finally had a doctor that said, well, your iron is a little bit low, still in the normal range, but a little bit low. And I started taking iron supplements, and it was like, the sun came out and that depression went away and I had more energy and I was more excited about life. Now, iron supplements can be very constipating, so you don't want to be on those long. But if you are, if you do have low iron, consider drinking chlorophyll. Chlorophyll is like plant blood. It's a green substance that is drawn from plants, and you can find it in any health food store, any good grocery store that has a holistic food section, and you put a tablespoon of it in your water, and it will boost your hemoglobin levels, which will then help increase iron levels or the absorption of iron, because you can be taking a lot of iron, but if you're not absorbing it, it's just passing on through, then it's not going to do you any good. So try the chlorophyll and you may find a big difference. I know some people find a huge difference just by doing that. Drink 1 or 2 glasses a day. How did I get sidetracked in that? Someone must have needed to hear that. So anyways, so you don't want to be in the normal range. You want to be in the optimal range. And that's when things, hi, Susie. So that's when you start to, really allow your body to be able to do the work. Our bodies all are on a constant basis, second by second basis. Our bodies, our organs, our cells are all trying to rebalance themselves, bring themselves back to a place of homeostasis, and so that the body can do its work. And physical symptoms such as, headaches, anxiety, depression, stomach aches. Okay, yeah, good then. Try the chlorophyll. Stomach aches and pains in the joints. All of these are physical symptoms of your body trying to tell you something's out of balance here, that it's being challenged to maintain balance and challenged to come back into itself. And this is where, people go to their doctor and the doctor says, well, does all the tests and comes back and says, well, everything's normal. And then 2 weeks later, you're quite ill. It's because the body maintains those levels until it no longer can. So, that physical symptoms, what you're being shown, but it's important to be that observer in your life, to be aware of what your body's showing you and understand it so that you can do something about it. And you can start to, you can say, well, that's different. But there's also a reminder here that a lot of people have a lot of aches and pains in their life, or headaches, or stomach issues, constipation, diarrhea. And I hear very often, well, that's the way it's always been for me. Well, that doesn't mean that's the way it should be. Ideally, if you're talking about bowel movements, 1 to 2 bowel movements a day is where we should be. Actually, ideally, we have 3 bowel movements a day. If you think the way that a baby's body works, that, bowel movement after each meal, ideally, that's the way our system works. But for the majority of us, I would hope you would have at least 1 bowel movement a day. If you're not, then there are things that would be really great, increasing fiber, drinking lots of water, consider taking magnesium, taking a look at not the mental. When I say mental, I'm not talking about mental health. This is one thing that I've had people say to me, right? Well, I don't have mental issues or mental health issues. I'm not talking about, it is mental health because we're talking about overall health here, but I'm talking about looking at your mindset, the way your mind works. Do you talk negative to yourself? Do you talk negative to other people? Do you see the world from a glass half empty as a glass half full? So it's more that than opposed to mental, illnesses, imbalances that are present. And even those imbalances that can be present, I often wonder if there is that spiritual component to it. And but that we have symptoms presenting themselves and we're unsure of what is going on. And so, we go to the doctor and say we've got a fuzzy head or headaches all the time, or, we feel things in our body and we don't understand and then are given drugs, etc. I tell the story about my sister who we used to say, hydrokleptomania. It's kind of mean now when I think about it, but that's family. But she used to be this way. she's not anymore, but she would say, like, if someone came up and said, well, I've got a headache, she would go, I do too. And I wonder now, unfortunately, I can't ask her anymore, but I wonder now if she actually was a physical empath and she could feel their pain. And so she truly was feeling their pain, and thought it was her own because she had no one to talk to. I hear of when people have brain fog, there's a lot going on there with thyroid issues as we grow up, not getting enough good fats into our bodies so our brains can function at a higher level. There are a lot of factors, but I often wonder. I know when I first started to connect with my guides and my teachers, that I would get a fuzzy head when I was being shown to listen to what someone was saying or pay attention to what someone was saying. And so, if I'd gone to the doctor and said, I'm feeling this fuzziness, they would have tried to give me a medicine to help with that. And so if you've got, especially with this world right now, there's so much energy flowing through this world. And if you're become aware that you're in tune with the energy of the earth, if you feel the moon more, if you feel storms more, if you're, especially the full moon, because they've been very, very powerful, that you're not sleeping or you sleep really heavily or you feel out of sorts, all these things could be that you're tapping into the energy within your system and you're feeling it more, you're opening up to be able to feel it more. So there's so much going on right now. And I would encourage you to not just write things off and say, it's just growing up, or it's, other issues, with aging and things along that lines, because there is so much going on. And a lot of it is, there's that spiritual component to so much of it. And so to tap into that, if you're challenged to lose weight, there is a good possibility that you're holding on to something emotionally, spiritually. There's a block that you're carrying around that prevents you from letting go of the weight. So even if you change your diet and you're exercising, if you can't lose weight, yes, it could be your thyroid. But why is your thyroid out of whack? Is it because, your body's not functioning at a high enough level? Is it because you're aging? Or is it because you don't speak your voice and so your thyroid doesn't function at a high level? And I had that issue for years. I didn't feel that I deserved to be heard. And I had thyroid issues for a number of years, and I don't anymore. I've done a lot of work on speaking my voice, of allowing myself to be heard, or not even allowing myself to be heard, but knowing that I deserve to be heard and that I have something to say. Even when I have used to do a lot more workshops in person, and I would get so nervous before these workshops. And I still do a bit, but I was worried that someone in the audience would know more than me and see me as a fraud. And, there's always going to be people in the audience that know more than me, always. But there's also always going to be someone that can get something from what I have to say, right? That when I share what I've learned, whether it's in school or listening to webcasts, or it is, just talking to people, or it's from my own experience. I do have things to share. And that's always a place to come from, right? Knowing that there's always going to be people smarter, there's always going to be people that have less knowledge and are looking for more, and that I have something to say that people want to hear. And so I guess it's coming from that place of knowing that I have something to say, but that also comes from a place of not being insecure, that I don't have the most knowledge, but I do have more knowledge than others. And it's also coming from that place of knowing that I don't have to care what other people think. If you think what I'm saying is ridiculous, then why are you listening? But also then, take a look at yourself and what is ridiculous about it. Are you afraid of anything I have to say? Is there a piece of you inside that doesn't have is afraid to say, I accept that, I believe that, I want to know more? So if coming to that place of knowing that there will always be the haters. Thank you, Taylor. There will always be the haters, and that's okay. And there is a book written about it. Thank you. I appreciate that. There is a book. It's called "It's Not Your Business What Anyone Else Thinks About You." And it's a great book. It's just a short book, but it gives you some really great tools to start to dive into who you are and how to be able to accept what other people are saying, or not accept what they're saying, but to ignore and not have it affect you, and be able to see. Because so often when people are really irritated, and you'll know this for yourself, when people are really irritated or aggravated, they may put it on the other person, but it's really about themselves. So coming to understand that piece that you do deserve to be heard. And this confidence is such, self-esteem, higher confidence and self-esteem is such an important part of learning to love yourself and to be okay, more than okay. Ideally, you do love yourself completely, but coming to that place of being okay with yourself. And, they were going to swing it back to the weight issue. When you can say, whatever happened, whether it's a sexual abuse or a physical abuse, or one and the same sometimes, or a trauma that happened, emotional, mental, physical, whatever it is, we can hold on to things, especially when your external world is out of control. We look inwards subconsciously and look inwards for control. And very often the only things that subconsciously we feel we can control is our digestive system. Constipation, diarrhea, kind of opposite ends of the same spectrum, but also holding on to that weight, especially for sexual trauma. What I've seen with people is that sexual trauma, that trauma that occurred makes us not want to ever go back to where we were, because not a lot of times, but if that trauma occurred when you were in your youth and you want to hide because, maybe let's not go into that. But it often is that we're holding on to the weight so that no one will see us as attractive. And when we can uncover that, and you don't have to go back into the moment to uncover that, but it is important to have an awareness of the emotions that are stuck. Then when you can uncover that and become aware, then you can start to release that energy. And that's a lot of what I do with the soul alchemy, is uncover an awareness for you of what's going on in your subconscious. About 90% of what we do is controlled by our subconscious, 80 to 90. So much is coming from there. And the more we can start to become aware of subconscious and understand our subconscious, then the more that we can step into our own power and understand ourselves better. So I'm just going to change up my YouTube channel. So, okay. So holding on, that there's that emotional component of holding on to our weight and not being able to let go of control. A lot of eating disorders can be that, your outer world is out of control, so you control your diet. And then you get stuck in that rabbit hole. And, I don't want to ever simplify it or, say it is that easy, but it is a start to take a look at and understand yourself better. But once again, it's coming into that understanding. But here's also that emotional and spiritual component, is that when we're have a lot of emotions in our life, like anger, fear, frustration, these energies can manifest in our organs and in our joints. So if you have a lot of anger, then you may have noticed that you have shoulder issues, or that you have neck issues, or that you have liver issues. If you have fear, you may have noticed that you have kidney issues. Hips can be a place that we store a lot of rage. And sometimes abandonment. So there's a really good book, Louise Hay. If you don't know about her, then she is really good. Louise Hay, You Can Heal Your Life. She healed her life and then has gone on to write other books. And she has lists of the different joints or the different parts of the body and different diseases, the problem, and then probable causes, what the thought process is behind it. And then she gives you a new thought pattern. So that's a great tool to come to understand yourself better. And then in my book, The Magnificence of Magenta, Rediscovering the Color of Your Soul, I talk about affirmations and how to utilize affirmations to start to change your mindset, start to change and understand the emotions better, and to move through what you're going through right now. When I first did my affirmations, I probably had 10 of them, and I repeated them for 5 or 6 times a day. And so I had them memorized. And then once I had started to move or step into the affirmation that I created, then I could create a new one or reset the words that I had used to advance farther. So when I first, one of my first affirmations was, I'm coming to like the way I look. And then my next one was that I see myself as an attractive person. And so you can adjust that. You know, when I was going, at the time I was, I think I was going through school for nutrition then. And it was, you know, that my affirmation was that I finished my program with an honors mark. I had 89.7 and they wouldn't change it. So anyways, I almost made it, but that's the way things work. So, you know, consider affirmations as a great tool to start to move towards. But this is the big thing, is becoming that observer in your life so that you can notice the emotions and understand them better, so that you can notice, you know, the spiritual things that are going on with your life. Are you tapping into other people's energy? Are you starting to become more, are you awakening? Are you becoming more conscious? Are you moving along? And if you listen to Carl Jung et al., or not listen, but read Carl Jung et al., that, you know, the individuation process is continuing. All of these things will guide you on your journey of becoming more aware by becoming an observer in your life, by becoming more conscious, becoming more conscious of you, your physical, emotional, spiritual, and mental you, and mental from that mindset perspective of how do you talk to yourself. Do you ever, you know, do you say that was a stupid thing to do, or what an idiot I am? All these things, you know, which is so common for us, right? But it's really important for you on your journey of acceptance, of love, of moving that awakening process along by recognizing where you're at right now, so that as you move forward, you can change. You can move into that place of loving yourself more, and then, you know, achieving those wellness goals that you have set for yourself, or that you hope for yourself. Because, and once again, we're all designed to heal ourselves. We've just forgotten how. And we should be moving through this world in a place of feeling good the majority of the time. We are designed, and there's still cultures in the world, although that's changing, in Japan and Russia and other, I forget the other, is it another one in Norway, in Africa, where they live to be 100, 110. And it's not till the last couple of years that they start to go down a little bit, but, you know, the illnesses, the chronic illnesses are not a part of their life. And, you know, there's a number of components. One, you know, the diets that they have, the physical exercise, the respect that's held in community for seniors, and two other main factors, but I'm drawing a blank on those right now. So there is so much information out there. Thank you. I appreciate that. So becoming that observer in your life, becoming curious about who you are and what you're being shown on a minute-by-minute, day-by-day basis will guide you on your journey to a place of peace, if that's what you're looking for, or joy or happiness, but abundance, because that's what we're meant to have. So I do have a course coming up. It's called Transform Your Life, and I have 2 different levels. I'm working with Kimberly DePuthra, and she is a divine guide living down in the States. But it's going to be offering from May 5th to June 23rd, an 8-week program that will guide you through all those not only if you're just starting on your journey of awakening, but learning about being grounded, about shielding, about intuition, because intuition can change your life when you tap into it. It's there, available. It's all just inside of you. Your own wisdom, your knowledge, all your experiences are there, just tapping into your subconscious, waiting for you. Learning about your gifts and how to develop them more. So 8 different weeks. And we also have a second level program for those that are a little bit farther along their journey. If you've taken the Transform Your Life workshop before, or if you feel that that's, I've got some friends that are farther along the journey. Anyways, take a look at it. It's on my Joanna Rogister Facebook page. And to learn more, reach out to me, joannarogister.com. I'll just change that banner a little bit. Or, yeah, there we go. joannarogister.com and find out more. But otherwise, on Thursday, I'm here for Real Talk Soul Alchemy, and I'll talk even more about the Soul Alchemy. Soul Alchemy is about the transformation of taking you from where you are now and bringing you to a place where you're in tune, in line with your soul's purpose, your soul's wish for this lifetime. That's on Thursdays at 12:30 Eastern Standard Time. Otherwise, have an absolutely amazing day and check out Speak Up and Empower, because this is part of Speak Up and Empower's online community of webcasts. And we have conversations that change the way you see the world. And thanks for all your comments. And if you have any topics you'd like me to cover off, I'd love it. But yeah, check out my YouTube channel, Joanna Rogister Soul Alchemist, and subscribe, and to get caught up on any of the other videos that I've done. Have an amazing day.